Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is Equinox, a sequel to The Migration. It was written by Sean Little, and he will be GMing it for us tonight. This is episode 6. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Sean?
As mentioned, Percy is at the camp still. He has not made it to where you people are, but you are on generally around the vicinity of the barn itself, and you have seen this object fall to the ground. It is, as mentioned, a bear, and you've identified it through the bullet hole because it was shot in the head once, not killed. It is definitely the bear that was being hunted. And now you have heard gunshots to the north. General direction is up the roadway where you had identified the tramp's shed hut where Brent, you had met him up there.
Oh boy. I think old man Chalmers is probably getting revenge for the bear scaring his daughter, killing that boy. I hope that he's not going after Brent.
Well, it sounds like he may have already caught up with Brent, I'd say.
Oh.
I'd let's go there right now. How far roughly is it gonna? I can't remember. How far away are we from the?
I don't know. We don't know what's up that road. I think we better.
Oh yes, that's the road you've driven up before.
Well, I mean, didn't the bird and the gunshots come from up towards the mountain or the hills, or?
You sort of roughly up in the roadway does go on the other side of the house. If you look at the map, the house is here, the roadway is here and heads north, and that's where the tramp's place was, and then farther north and to the west is where the mine is. But the gunshots do come in the general direction of where the tramp shed, hut, whatever you want to call it, the car was parked and such.
Well, we better go in that direction.
Yes, I agree.
Are we armed at all?
Oh, yeah, I'm armed.
I think everybody said they were collecting their
think
weapons.
we kind of freaked out, and armed ourselves.
Yeah, I'm armed.
All right.
Sean, did you say the bear was shot too?
Yes, you did get notified that when the hunting party, including Clayton, were after the bear, that it did get shot. It did not kill the bear. It sort of grazed it, but it was seen stumbling down, and it got hit in the eye area.
Okay.
So it was partially blinded, but it didn't kill the bear. So it was like a wing did.
But it's how I was able to identify the bear as the one that was hunted, yeah.
Okay, I see.
Well, what time of the day is it? I forget. Is this evening?
It's night, I think, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to go up the road.
Okay, you have your vehicle with you, so you can all go. Shall we assume you haven't seen Percy come yet? Shall we assume he's going to stay at the camp for now?
He's probably distracted talking to somebody.
He's doing his own bit of investigating there, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think
So
he was crocheting.
Or teaching them how to darn their socks.
I sure hope Percy's okay over there. But let's not worry about it. Let's go to the to where they were shot.
Okay. Right. You hop in your car, and it's certainly not a dark and stormy night, so you can. There's no issues. You drive to the north, and I'm assuming who's driving, by the way.
Not me.
I'll drive.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea there, Captain.
Okay. All right. There's no storms, there's no wet roads or anything like that, so it's just a simple straight drive north. And as you're driving, you slowly you approach. There's moonlight shining. The moon is relatively low, but it's over the hills, and you see silhouetted against the moonlight, like the moonlight coming from behind. You see the silhouette of something above the hut as you're approaching it, and you see the flash of a gunshot. Another one, and I mean, if your windows are down, you might hear it. You could identify it as a shotgun, perhaps. And you see a flash of light, followed by another flash of light, and then silhouetted against the moonlight, you see this shape fly off northward.
And it looks like a big bird or something?
You're still a ways away, but remember the fellow who identified it before said it was like a lizard. The best you can identify is a slow, like not flapping like a bird, but flapping like a bat. But the wings look like bat's wings, but moving slower. It's like
It's a dragon.
they have that leathery look to them, the shape to them, like not feathers by any means.
There's that dragon.
And it definitely has limbs. You can see limbs hanging down and perhaps a bit of a tail.
Okay. So I speed up.
Could someone who's driving? You're driving, Dean, and who's sitting up front as well?
I'll sit up front.
Okay.
Could you both make a spot hidden, please?
Oh no, I miss.
I missed as well.
Okay, it's all right.
Should we stop and see if what's his name is okay?
Well, I'm speeding up to get to the
the shed.
the hut. Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, uh-oh. Saw the gunshots and so on and so forth, and just put the pedal to the metal and just keep going like faster.
Okay. You arrive at the hut, and as you arrive there, there's a bit of a fire. And as you pull in, you see it's like the remains of a lantern that has been knocked over, like carrying a lantern kind of with the handle. It's been knocked over, and there's kerosene burning, but it's not a wildfire. It's not like a dry grassland or anything. So it's just on the dirt. There's an area of fire, and the silhouette in the light from the fire, you can see Brent Sterling leaning up against the wall of the shed, holding onto a shotgun, sort of breathing heavily. And he sees you, and he waves. He drops his gun.
Sterling,
What happened here?
It got me. I ran. I came back. I was going to stay at the hotel. I came back here to get my shotgun because I just didn't feel safe after talking to that fella, the farmer fella. And I'm Mr. Chalmers, and I came back to get my shotgun, and that thing showed up, and I've never seen anything like that before.
And you managed to keep it at bay with a shotgun?
Oh, well, he's wounded. You can see that his shoulder has been slashed through the clothing. He's bleeding, and his leg as well on the left side. There's another gouge, and it's bleeding as well, and that's why he's dropping. I mean, he's lost a fair bit of blood. He's got marks on his face. You can't tell whether he's been hit or whether it's blood splashed on him. He said I put 3 rounds into that thing, and the guy riding it just flew off.
There was a guy.
Can I do a first aid on him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You say there was a man riding it?
A guy in a black cloak, and he's got his hood up. I couldn't see his face, but I could only guess who it was.
Mr.
I got it passed on the first aid as well.
What? Okay, yeah. I'm like, are you okay there? That seems kind of preposterous. Like,
Clayton, from what we've seen, it's got to be Mr. Chalmers.
Yeah.
yeah, no. I'm just like, I'm trying to wrap my head around this guy, hooded guy on like a flying.
And we saw the direction that it flew back towards, yeah?
Up the roadway, like north, approximately the direction of the roadway. You remember when you went to the mine, you drove up the roadway and headed towards the hills, which are a fair ways farther to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cut to the west to head to the mine, which is up against the hills.
Mm.
So the road does continue on towards the hills farther.
I think that we should with the first aid, is Brent stable enough to come with us, or should we turn around and take him to the hospital?
I only got a regular pass, if that makes a difference.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's more superficial wounds than anything. There's slashes. He hasn't been cut. It's more slashes through the clothing. The clothing protected him for the most part. His jacket protected him. He's wounded. He's bleeding, but you patched him up enough that he's fit to travel. Not happy about it, but he certainly doesn't want to go back to the town.
Well, we need to stop this thing, whatever it is.
Well, could you go inside and grab my shells? I only got what's in my pocket.
Sure. Yeah. Let's get the whatever we can armed up and head towards where that thing came from,
Gonna kill again.
where it flew back to. And my guess is that we're going to meet
People
Mr.
now.
Chalmers, but we'll see. And possibly find the artifact that we're looking for.
Well, he says, I spent the day doing some research, and I got some very interesting information for you. So it'll take a bit of time to explain to you, but let's just see if we can find this thing first.
Okay. Well, tell us while we're driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you do have a few minutes. So this is what he has determined. He said, this is based on information I haven't given you to date. I did some research into the family. What they have here in this town isn't all. It's not all known. They know that this Amelia Baudelaire Tremaine, she came here, and her father in Chilcoth, can't remember how you pronounce that place. He and her were very religious, and when she came back, she brought something back with her, because her father brought the town clergy into the house, and they talked, and they made a pact that the things she brought back were ungodly things. I'm guessing it's the stones.
Yeah, we've kind of guessed part of that.
Yeah. Well, from what I gather, after a while, this marriage to Ezekiel, it was an arranged marriage, and it was to keep her in good with the religion, good with the clergy, because the word had got around that she was involved in some stuff out west, and I don't know how they did it, but they got her married. I mean, assuming that her husband had died. And what I've gathered so far is what hasn't been shown up in any of the records in this town is that there was an uncle, her uncle from Northern Ontario, a guy named Dykstra, Marlon Dykstra. He came to help out Ezekiel and her, and they're the ones. They did some work on the farm, and they purchased some property next door, and they're going to expand their farming. This was their big money-making idea. But something happened, and they did a lot of construction work. They diverted that stream, and then they fell through. Like this business, this farming business they were going to get into didn't pan out. There's lots. I couldn't really get into the records, the financial records, personal stuff, but for whatever reason, they sold the property later on. And then this uncle is never mentioned again. He's just gone. Shortly after that, Andrew's born. Shortly after, and then the father dies. The Ezekiel dies. And all I know after that point is Andrew's around, the father's dead, and then sometime later on in the future is when I heard about this stuff going on in Northern Ontario, where you guys are from, that Star City. So there's a connection between the people in Star City, this Marlon uncle, Ezekiel, her, and these stones. And all I know is they know of the stone in the Northern Ontario. They know the other two stones were here, but this group you guys are working for are looking for just one of them. So there's got to be a third somewhere else. That's kind of what I got so far, because as far as I can understand from the historical records, somebody did some kind of magic recently, I'm guessing, and this uncle was somehow connected. But either way, he's got a creature or something. He's got something that he's controlling right now.
So you think that the uncle and Andrew are still in cahoots? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, the uncle disappeared after he went back to Northern Ontario. No more. He was there for a couple of years, then gone. Now the name Dykstra. Anybody want to make an idea? What would be best for prompting your memory? An idea roll, perhaps?
Idea.
Yeah.
Do you want all of us to?
Anybody who lived in Park, and anybody who was there, really, not Captain Montgomery.
I got a 23.
I failed.
Okay. 23 out of how good of a pass was that?
My intelligence is 85.
Oh.
So that's That's better than half. But
I filled my idea roll.
Okay.
got
Well,
a
I mean,
7 out of 50.
but you just sort of, Dr. Brody, you say, guys, you live there. Don't you remember? That's the name of the mayor. That's Dykstra. It wasn't Marlon Dykstra. It was Ben or Ted or something.
Pardue?
In Pardue Mills, the mayor's name was Dykstra.
That was his name.
Hmm.
And now that's just too much of a coincidence
Yeah,
that
that's a damn good coincidence.
because Dykstra, that's an odd last name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is actually really odd.
It's Dutch.
Yeah.
So you definitely remember that the name, you never heard it, and none of you have ever heard of this Marlon Dykstra. But now that you're prompted, there's a small family, the mayor. He came 20 or so years ago to town, and he was from a town south, not very far south, but I mean, he wasn't from the town originally. And his family owned a bakery, just made a lot of bread, made a lot of things for the town. But that's how he got his money in the town.
Hmm.
How does the Dykstra name fit into the family tree? Do we know that?
No, it's not in any of the information you have to date. It's her family tree. Remember, it's not the Chalmers.
So her father
It's her uncle.
or her uncle.
Her meaning,
Uh, Amelia.
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 Her father's brother. Now wait. It can't be that because if his name was Trelane, then his brother's name would be Trelane too. Unless they came from different fathers. Maybe that's how Dykstra got in there.
Or perhaps her mother's brother.
Makes sense. It's a connection somehow, and it doesn't have to be an uncle. It could be a great uncle or
It's some sort of a connection, yeah.
some connection. It could be someone that they recalled uncle who wasn't really a blood relative, but you just
That's
know.
true too. People become uncle by association with the family.
I think what I was asking, so he's old though. That would be, he's probably not around at this point.
Well,
You wouldn't think so.
he would be dead long ago. But I don't know. I just want to. I still think this is Andrew.
Magic, dragons, anything could happen now.
We should have brought a lance. I didn't know you kill a dragon.
And a shield.
Avast, ye dragon, stop what you're doing. Yeah. This is just so crazy. It's so crazy. Let's just and your driving is crazy. Let's get there.
I'm gonna be sick.
I still think that it's Andrew.
I drive my cars like I fly my planes. I try to get them off the ground.
All right. Now Brent says, "Wait a second." He pulls out a map, and it's like a fairly old map. It's a topographical map, and but it has roads on it. He says, I haven't gone up that far north. I've been focusing on this area here." And he shows you the map. And he says, it does continue on. It goes to the west to the mines. And if you go a little farther, it does go to the east to some other town off that direction in Ohio or Michigan, perhaps, whatever. But the road does continue on and it stops. He says, I see this little, and I'm looking here in this map, and it stops and there's like little dots. I would assume that this means that there was probably a little village there at one time. So, and as you keep driving, it's like another 15 or 20 minutes north. You approach the hills, and you do see foundations of some older buildings. No road signs or anything like that, but it's like 10 or 12 little buildings, all in ruins now.
It's nighttime, so as we're driving along, do we see any lights off in the distance somewhere? A house or a campfire or anything like that should show up brilliantly.
Make a roll. Spot hidden.
Oh, 86. No.
I got a 4.
Okay.
Did you want all of us to roll?
Oh, I didn't know if anybody really wanted to. Okay, 4. You're driving anyways. You do notice as you're approaching the hills, you do have the sense, as you can with moonlight in behind, it looks like there's smoke rising up above the hill. I mean, these are not mountains; these are hills. But they're still a couple of 100 feet tall, and you do see like this simple smoke rising up from somewhere along the hillside. Now, you don't see any fire, but you do see the smoke.
So it's Clayton sitting next to me. So I say, Clayton, does that look like smoke up there against the moon there coming off the mountain?
I think so.
Yes.
I think we might be onto something, gentlemen. We're going in the right direction, at least.
Just anywhere near the mine?
No, the mine is off. Like if the mine goes that way, there's a little like tour along the hills. The road follows the hills to the mine. This way goes to another city or town in Ohio or Michigan. Sorry. And then this road kind of stops at this little village or former village at the base of the hill.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we've passed the mine area, the road to the mine.
So the mine is behind
Yes.
us and to the right or to the west.
Now, are there any roads from this little ruined village heading up the hills?
Well, it's fairly overgrown, but Clayton, you're a tracker, and you've got tracking as well too, don't you, Ma and Dr.
Yep.
Brody?
I got navigate.
Since there's not a road, we have to get out of the car and
Oh, the road
by
ends.
foot.
Yeah, the road definitely ends at these
Okay.
houses and buildings. Well, the foundation.
Make sure you're all very well armed, gentlemen. We might get into
Oh,
it.
I am armed, so
Now let's do a quick check of this little ruined town to see if there's any buildings that are large enough to have people, a person hiding in them.
Good idea. Good idea.
If there aren't, if they're all fallen down and broken, then that's not necessary.
They are. They're flattened, and it's foundation walls, or whatever's remaining of the foundation with rough flattened wood. It's all mossy and rotten. A few scraggly trees and cedars and things popping up here and there. However, who has the tracking? Is it Clayton?
yes, I have tracking.
Could you do tracking? And Dr. Brody, could you do spot hidden? Trying to base it on your abilities.
Oh, 16.
I just make my track at a
So
40.
that's a hard roll for me.
Okay. So, Dr. Brody, you're all wandering around this area looking. It's fairly flat and open except for these scraggly trees. And you do. Clayton says, this looks like the grass has been pushed down. And when you get close, you see the first footprint. And it's big. And it's 3-toed. And it is big, pushed down into sand. So you definitely see one. And then you look a little farther, you see another. And Clayton, you're able to track it fairly closely that you see something landed very hard and then started walking towards the hill. And along the hill, it's definitely treed.
Well,
And as you walk a little closer, you see there's like a pathway through the branches and trees toward an open hole in like a hill, in the hill, like a cave.
if you ever thought that there was no evidence to these monsters, look at
Yeah,
this thing
let's
right
go
here.
to the cave.
I think we need to be really careful. Quite honestly, I'd rather lure the animal out of the cave and fight it on our terms rather than go into the cave and fight it on its terms.
In the dark.
What would we lure it out with?
I don't know. Stand at the front of the cave and go, coo, 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 coo. See if it comes.
Well, we could get some meat and throw it, and then the smell might.
Well, we don't
Then
have
we-
any meat. Are you offering up yourself as a sacrifice? We can,
No, I'm not sacrificing myself. I'm just saying.
What about we smoke it out?
Yeah,
That was going to be my suggestion, yes.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. put some brambles and stuff into the cave entrance and light it on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get closer. Let's see what we can see.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Don't approach. We're not going to approach dead forward up to the cave. We're going to kind of circumnavigate in case the thing comes out.
Mm-hmm. By chance, you notice, Clayton, the wind is coming from the south. So the wind is at your back, blowing towards the hills.
Okay.
And so walking around is the smarter route. As you approach it, the sand. The reason you saw sand was this is a dry riverbed. And the assumption is, as you look east and west, there's probably a river that flowed or does flow in the winter months or spring along the base of the hill. And it looks like the river goes into this cave entrance, sort of like a natural place for it to go, follows limestone, goes down, erodes and all that. So that's why there was this sandy area on the other side of the houses that you saw the landing. And the footprints do go inside this kind of roughly hewn kind of cave entrance. It's not hewn, it's a natural formation.
Now, can we tell just by the landscape whether the water would come out of the cave or go into the cave?
Into the cave.
Okay.
It definitely goes into the cave.
Hey, Clayton, do you see any human footprints?
Can I make a track to see?
Go for it. Everyone can make a spot hidden if you don't make it.
I don't see any human tracks.
Okay.
I barely fail my spot hidden.
Could this be some sort of a dinosaur?
I got a 15 on spot hidden.
Can I just get a quick, I know we don't have a lot of time to discuss this, but I just want a quick, are we going in to kill somebody here? Are we going in to kill the creature? Or are we just going in to kill everything?
If it's a creature, we're going to kill the creature. We're not necessarily wanting to kill the people.
Well, if the people start shooting or attacking us, then yes, I'm going to put them down.
Right, but I think that we would, at the very, being upright citizens, we would arrest Andrew and bring him to justice for, I don't know, attempted murder or something. But
well, that's kind of what I mean. Is why are we for Andrew? I don't think he's done anything wrong, has he? Except kill a bear
and tried to kill the tramp.
Yeah, he tried to kill me, says Brent.
Yeah, and he's got a monster.
He killed a bunch of dogs too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly, I mean, I think Andrew's coming from the right place. I think he's just trying to protect his family, but he's abusing this and he's starting to attack humans. So
he did have it buried. He did have this thing buried and out of the way. He only dug it back up once,
Yeah, we're also looking for the artifact.
Maybe we could reason with him.
Maybe.
He seems pretty reasonable when I talk to him. He doesn't seem totally lost or.
Did he say anything to you, Brent? Why did he attack you?
Get this. I was going to town for the sole purpose of getting in a hotel and having a nice night's sleep in a bath.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked a little ways. I parked my car, not wanting to drive through town. They might recognize me in my previous disguise. And I started walking, and I actually passed the little girl. And I was speaking to her. But I had, not so smartly, I'd put my wardrobe back on, my costume. And she screamed when she saw me. And he came around the corner, and he must have taken her out for something, to see the church or something. And he saw me, and she was screaming, and she was running away from me. And he chased after me, and he said, "I'll get you. I'm going to get you. You stay away from my granddaughter." And I didn't stick around any longer because I didn't want him to recognize my face. And it wasn't that long afterwards. I beetled it on back to my shed to get my shotgun, to smuggle it into my hotel room. And that thing arrived with, I assume it was him on top, riding it like a horse.
It's some sort of a trained animal. I mean, think of it that way. If the guy had a big bull mastiff that he had trained to attack people that he didn't like, It's the same thing. Yes, we will kill the animal. We won't necessarily kill him.
And he needs to be taken to justice. He's
Yeah.
starting to attack humans now.
I don't know.
How are you going to explain that? Brent says, he goes, how are we going to explain that to the police? That he brought his mythical creature.
Kill the fucking dragon and bring it with us. I'm sure the biologists at my university would love to dissect it and see what it is.
Through that.
Maybe it's a missing. Maybe it's just I've heard lots of stories that in the Congo in Africa that there are dinosaurs still living. Maybe this is just
Okay, Mr. Brody. I just wanted to get a quick answer. Are we shooting things, or are we just going in to catch somebody? I didn't want to
shooting.
talk about the Congo.
defend yourself. Defend yourself.
Shooting. That's what I'm.
But try not to shoot any human beings.
All right, let's go.
Let's not go in guns blaring.
All right. So we're approaching the entrance from either side. Maybe 2 of us on one side and 3 of us on the other. And
It's about 15 feet across the entrance. It's a good, like at the peak, it's probably like 20 feet high, but at the usable size, again, 15 feet. There used to be a gate. You can see there used to be like a fence or a gate of some sort that's been torn away and rotted and fallen down.
The smoke source, is it coming from the cave?
Yep, it's curling up, but not from the cave entrance. You can see that where the peak of the cave entrance goes, there's a crack that sort of goes up this rocky cliff part of the hill, and partway up that, a little ways up, like maybe 50 feet up the hill, you can see some smoke creeping out of the crack.
All right.
so once we've approached on either side, I'm going to just peek around the corner a little and see if I can see any light or anything from inside the cave.
It does tend to twist, so you
Okay.
can't see past.
Can't
But
see.
yeah, but do you want to do a listen roll then?
Sure. 07.
All right. You hear the little girl's voice. She says, I want to go home. I want to go home, Grandpa. And you hear him saying something back to her. And she goes, I don't like this. This thing's scary. I just want to go home, Grandpa. And she's crying almost.
I'm talking quietly to everybody. I say, he's in there with the little girl. I can hear him. Should we just call out and say, Mr. Chalmers, come out?
Well, then he might get this creature to attack.
Well,
When did he get his granddaughter? Because me and Ma were just with her at the house when we saw the bear. We'd just been talking to her.
Mhm.
So when we went to go get Brent, he must have circled back and gone and got. This thing moves fast.
We don't want any. We want to avoid a confrontation if we can.
He knows me, and I can just yell out for him.
Just Mr. Chalmers, we know you're in there. Please come out. We don't want any trouble.
Yeah.
Question for Sean. The crack that we see the smoke coming out of, that's up above. How big is that crack?
Oh, this is just like the entrance comes to a peak. It doesn't actually close off. And then from that point on, it's just like a thin crack going up the rocky landscape, or the limestone rather, or whatever it happens to be. So it's not very wide. I mean, I'm sure looking at it in the moonlight, you think there's spots that look like they're about this wide. There's spots that look like they're that wide. Most of it's fairly thin.
Okay. So not like someone, you can look down the crack into the...
Right.
You might be able to.
Okay. Ma's gonna kind of go into the opening. She's gonna walk out of the woods and just say,
Don't stand right in front of it, because if someone comes out,
Right. So she's not gonna scream, but she's gonna say, loud enough to hear, Mr. Chalmers, April, this is Miss Mackenzie. I just want to talk. Come on out.
We don't want any trouble.
You hear.
I've got my gun ready to go.
You hear the grandfather go, shh. That's all you hear.
We know you're in there.
Mr. Chalmers, come on. We just want to talk. We just want to figure out what's going on here. We don't want no trouble.
You're
I
going to
look
get
over.
trouble unless you go away now.
We can't do that.
Don't you come near my granddaughter. You get the hell out of here.
We just want what's best for April.
Yeah, I know what's best for my granddaughter.
Why don't you come out and tell us what's going on?
I suggest you probably want to go.
We know you have some sort of an animal in there. We've seen it.
Just get out. Just come out now. Otherwise,
Clayton,
Quiet, Clayton.
Shit.
Clayton, he's got a little girl in there with him.
listen, we're coming in. We don't want any trouble.
Silence.
So I'm going to start to move into the cave entrance. But
I'll come with.
I'm being careful.
Yeah, same here.
You hear a kicking sound, like a sound of and sizzling sound of someone dumping something on some, to put the fire out. That's your best guess. And all of a sudden you can smell smoke, and because this is before you were able to make it around the corner, and
Right.
then you smell smoke and you can feel like the heat of steam, perhaps, maybe.
Mr.
Can't-
Chalmers, we don't want any trouble.
Can we at least take April out of here?
You hear footsteps going off into the distance, and as you make your way around the corner, peeking around, you can see the embers of the fire strewn about on the floor, and you can catch the glimpse of light on some damp rocks going off into the caves off behind the cave, the main cave area you're in. Like it's an area about the size of like a kitchen, maybe a little larger.
All right, guys, get out your flashlights. Somebody needs to stay out here in the front to make sure that he and his daughter don't circle back and come back out. All right, I'll do it.
I'm happy to do it, but I'm not so keen about doing it by myself.
That's why you should have brought Percy. You could have left him out.
Here, no. Why don't we just leave Brent here, and we'll
Yeah.
we'll,
Yep.
Good
I
idea.
do that.
okay.
Or I can always wait out here too.
I'm going to slow you down in the cave, he says. I can
Yeah.
quite easily sit over outside the doorway, and there's like some scraggly bushy area to the right outside the cave.
I
Just
could-
sit-
Do you know what? If you want to, I can stay with you there.
whatever you like.
Okay.
What's your strength, Clayton?
My strengths.
Yeah. I mean, you're a big, strong guy.
No, I'm not strong at all.
Oh, but you are a
Monster.
tracker.
I am a tracker, yes. But I was thinking, just so that we could protect Brent here.
Brent's got a shotgun. I'm sure he survived once. He can do
Yeah,
it.
he survived. Yeah.
He's loading up.
Well,
All right. Let's
I
go
I
in
think you
after.
should come with us, Clayton.
Dude.
You're too.
Yeah. Just come
we
with
need
us.
the tracking. Yeah.
We'll be careful. We might need you to
okay.
track. In fact, you go first.
Not going first. Brody, you go first.
We need to track.
Well, I'll go first, but I'm going very carefully and cautiously, and
Yeah, I'm
making sure my
recognized.
light shines on anything that might be there.
Whoever's up
Pretty
front, make a
narrow-
spot hidden.
Okay.
All right. Nope.
Nope. Not for me.
Okay. You see the footprints of the father and April, or the grandfather and April. You can see exactly where they've gone because it's damp sand. It's not wet. I mean, it's not springtime that it's
Right.
still rushing water, but it's damp enough you can see the footprints in the sand where they're heading.
Okay. Is the cave itself complicated, or is it just more or less a single passageway.
It's more or less a single passage. There are some side passages where water's trickled down following gravity. But for the most part, it's like you can see where the river flows in the springtime.
We're not likely to get lost at this point. So
No.
all right.
And as you progress, I mean, you do occasionally hear footsteps and noises and ouch up ahead, but they are definitely going somewhere. And as the passageway continues about the same size, and then it does widen out, and there's another entranceway to a larger room.
Okay. Well, we very carefully go inside, Mr.
M-
Chalmers.
Mr. Chalmers, let's just talk about this.
You hear from the darkness, because you can't see him yet. He goes, "You people just ought to leave right now, or my friend's going to have a little bit of fun with you."
Is this your animal?
Don't increase the problem with something like that. If you can control this creature, control it.
Oh, I'll control it, all right.
And I'm gonna be aiming at him.
We can't see him.
I
Yeah,
can't see him.
Put your gun down. Don't provoke him.
We're in a tight space here.
So this is definitely, like, you can't really see how large it is. You catch glimpses of the size, of the walls in the distance with your flashlights. I mean, they're not modern maglite LEDs or something like that.
Right.
They can go on. So you do get the sense that it is larger than a house, larger than perhaps two standard houses.
It's a cavern. Yeah.
It's a cavern, and you hear water running ahead of you. So you do definitely hear water, and as you shine your flashlights, you don't notice. You can see the floor, and then you see a dark area ahead of you, maybe halfway.
Maybe it drops off.
I whisper to the others and I say, "Gentlemen, I've just realized we're swinging our torches around, pointing exactly where we are. We turn them off, then we can't see him, but he can't see us."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he probably knows this cave really well, though.
Yeah.
So
Yes, but
we're
sitting ducks.
not trying to sneak up on him,
Yeah, true.
but let's just try to have our conversation. He can obviously hear us talking.
Yeah.
And let me try something. Mr. Chalmers,
Yes.
we're going to put if you can see us, we're going to put our guns, our weapons down to show that we mean no harm. We don't want to harm you or your granddaughter. We mean no harm. We're not blaming you for anything that's happened. We just want to understand what is going on and what this creature is. And we want to keep you safe. We promise we're not going to say anything to Apollo Research. We'll make them go away if that is what you want. We don't want anyone else to get hurt. No one else has to get hurt, especially you or your granddaughter or your family. And I shine my light on my rifle, and I point. So I'm lighting my rifle as I put it on the ground and step back.
Do you have any kind of persuasion or anything like that?
I have charm, and I have that. I can try my persuade. It's a 10, but I can try it.
Well, it doesn't have to. If you wish to try to charm him.
Yeah, I'll go charm because I'm better on that.
So that's what you said that you're going to charm him with?
Yeah, by putting the gun down.
Make a roll. Let's see what you get.
I saw you working in the field the other day. You're quite handsome.
And you're a lonely man, aren't you?
Oh, God.
I got a 40 out of 30, but can I spend 10 luck?
10 luck.
Oh my gosh.
I would say no.
Okay. So yeah, I don't quite charm him then.
Well, he does respond to you, and he seems a little down a bit, like not down, like a little less antagonistic. He says, "Look," he says, this whole town's against me. This whole town's against my family. This whole town is against my granddaughter because of, well, I'm not going to discuss why.
Look, everybody loves Hope. Everybody loves your daughter, your granddaughter. I don't know why you would think that.
We're not from this town as well.
That's
We're not
true,
judging
too.
you as they are.
I just think you people should leave right now because there's going to be hell to pay. And I think I've had enough.
Look, if we leave, your secret's out. We already know what's going on. We know that you have some sort of an artifact that was buried out there, and that that you're able to control this beast. But if that's what it takes, then we'll leave, and we'll talk to you back at your house.
Mr. Chalmers, when we arrived, we heard your granddaughter say she wants to go home.
She does.
Let us take her home.
Come
Let
home
us
with
take
us.
Let us take her home to her mother.
Okay, does anybody else want to make a...
I can
you get
try
any
and
other-
persuade. No, I'm going to try charm.
I've only got intimidate, so I mean, I can go that route with him.
He's a farmer. He might like intimidation.
Yeah. That's
Oh yeah.
He likes a tough woman, huh?
Yeah, likes a strong woman.
Really, Ma?
He might be an old-fashioned fellow. If you just walk in there, you're like, you wouldn't hurt a lady, would you?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's not really intimidate, but Ma's not really that kind of gal. But how'd you roll?
Oh,
Oh,
I can't charm him. No,
yeah.
I actually got 10 off too.
All right. Yeah, Ma's gonna say, the good old doctor here is right, Mr. Chalmers. We know all about what's going on here, and I'd urge you to hand over April. We'll get this sorted out.
That's all
Otherwise,
you want. You just want my granddaughter.
we want her to be safe.
She's safe with me right here.
But
Nothing's going to
she
happen.
doesn't want to be here. She's not happy. She doesn't feel safe. You know that's true.
You come back with us. You have a daughter that loves you, a granddaughter.
I got an 01 on my intimidate, by the way, so that's extreme.
All right. So he says, well, listen to me. You people have been nice to me so far, but I don't want that other guy, that hobo near her.
He's not
That's
here.
fine.
I don't trust him worth beans. So I
Neither
don't
do
want
I.
him. Well, if you can take April back to the house, you leave her with her ma, you tell her ma to go into town and stay at the store. Then we can meet up and talk in about 1 hour.
That's
All
fine.
right.
You got a deal.
And I step forward and say, send it April over to me.
A few seconds later, see a flashlight light up the ground, and into the flashlight beam walks April. She's carrying a little teddy bear. I mean,
Okay.
she's still
Come
there.
on, sweetie.
Yeah,
Come on.
I pick her up, and
She heads to Ma and you and Captain
Yeah.
Montgomery.
All right.
she's met us, so it makes cool. So I'm carrying April, and I hand my gun off to Jimmy.
And if we have no problem getting back out to the cave entrance,
No problem.
as we step out of the cave entrance, I look over at Brent and I say, "You need to beat it. Go."
Done. He sneaks off into behind the whatever you call it, the ruined area, into
Okay.
like some bushes, and vanishes.
So we're going to bundle her into the car, and Captain Montgomery is going to drive us back to the house.
I drive back much slower and carefully this time.
She asks questions like, "What's going to happen to my mom, my grandpa, and things like that."
Nothing so far. He hasn't murdered anybody.
All right, Doc.
But we're going to ask
Let
her
me-
questions.
Yeah. So what did you see out there, sweetheart?
Well, Jamie, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay. I was going to say we could also use this opportunity to ambush him when he comes out of the cave.
Mm.
I mean, that way, if we wait for him to get into the town, maybe there's going to be more trouble that way.
Maybe. As you pointed out, he really hasn't done anything. Now, yes, he did try to get rid of who he thinks is a hobo. You know.
But
I thought
again,
he was talking about me.
He's just protecting his family.
I as I'm driving, I say to April, I say, April, have you seen this dragon that your grandfather has?
Its name is Molly.
Molly. Now, Molly where does he keep Molly? Was she in the
Molly
cave
lives
with you?
not in that cave. No, Molly lives in another cave somewhere else in the hills.
Right.
She's only been around for a little while. Grandpa said he might put her in the barn, but the barn was too small for her.
I see.
He said she might eat the horses too. I don't want that to happen.
No. So why did your grandfather come and get you tonight, and why did he leave your mother?
He was afraid that the men with the guns were going to come and get me and take me away and make him give them Molly. So after he got rid of that stupid bear, he flew up around to my window, and I was ready for him. And I went out the window, and we flew away.
I see.
Right. And why would they come and get you, Molly? I'm sorry. Why would they come and get you, April?
Because they want his magic, whatever it is. They want that thing he has that he can.
Your grandfather's magic, right?
Yeah, that he can use to make Molly do things. They want that because they want the power. He said they want the power.
Does your grandpa have a stone?
Mm-hmm.
Does a stone?
Does he have more than one?
I don't think so.
Mhm.
What does the stone look like?
She says it's like, and she essentially describes something very similar to the one you saw in the video, without being very detailed, and the same color. And she's got a hole in the bottom. It's really heavy. He let me lift it once, but I almost dropped it, and he yelled at me. But I didn't get to touch it after that.
All right. Does your mom know about this creature?
Where is the stone?
He had the stone in the barn, but he doesn't keep it there anymore. He said it wasn't safe.
Does he keep it in the cave that you were in?
I don't know. We dug it out because it was buried a long time ago by my grandfather, or my great-grandfather, I guess. He said it was buried, and it was buried in the woods, and we went and dug it out before the men could find it.
Okay. So are we approaching the house by this time?
Yep. A little while later, you're approaching the house, yeah, and you see all the lights are on. All the lights are on, and there's a vehicle outside, and you do see that there are some men with the men from the camp, and the guys with the Tommy guns. There's 2 or 3 of them walking around, and there's a vehicle that looks like a police car. First time you've seen the sheriff around.
All right. I say to Ma and stuff, and I say, Ma, you stay in the car here with April, and gentlemen, let's go and see why the men from the camp and such are here.
Okay.
So get out of the car and hail the men and stuff.
Okay. Well, you walk over. I mean, the sheriff's there talking to the mother, and the men with the Tommy guns are sort of looking around, looking on the ground, looking up in the air. They're just sort of searching the premises. You can see that somebody's out at the barn looking around. They say, we got to help. We'll find her. Don't worry. We'll find her.
Mrs. Chalmers.
Yes. Oh, yes. Hello. I see you guys are back. Thank you. You've come to help find her.
Don't
We-
say
we-
that out loud.
Yes, we heard the ruckus, and I see you've brought all the men from the camp.
I yelled, and they were driving by, and they came over to help, and then somebody got the sheriff, so we have to find her. She's taken off, and my father, he's off the booze, and when he's off, he's even worse than when he's on it.
I see.
That's not good.
I sort of, if I come up and I want to say, we don't. I'm saying this very quietly because I'm like, we're not sure we can trust the people from the camp. I say,
Yes, I agree.
and I say, your daughter is in the car, and you need to take her. You need to go with her and go stay in your shop. That's what your father told us to tell you.
Okay. How can I? She looks around, and there's people everywhere. Like there's at least 4 or 5 people wandering around.
I'm like,
Because how can I do this?
well, pretend to be upset. We'll comfort you and take you over to the car.
Okay.
It's okay. They'll find her. I'm sure they'll find her.
Well, she does. She immediately drops into crying, and she walks over to Ma.
I'm like, we're friends of the family. We're friends of the family. So,
Well, they know who you are. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys have seen you.
oh
at camp.
yeah,
I
sheriff.
go over to the sheriff and the other guys, and I say, gentlemen, don't know if you're aware of there's a mine, old abandoned mine, up over there to the west. Perhaps would be a good starting spot out there to see if a little girl going exploring, because we do know that April has been known for wandering. So that would be my suggestion. I think I've seen her around there before. That would be, I'd say, my first stop. Perhaps she's got a little cubby hole or something off over there.
That's such a long walk, the sheriff says. He says that's unless
Yeah, but she's with her grandfather.
horses. Good point. Well, he does like to wander. He goes off on his wanders for days at a time sometimes.
Yes.
All right. And he says to some of the fellows from the camp with the guards or security, whatever you wish to call them, he says, I want 2 of you to come with me. We're going to go and find this guy. And they said, okay, boss. And they hop in. They go over to the sheriff. And he says to the mother, he says, one of these fellows should stay with you at all times. We should keep you safe. And so he takes.
We're happy. Yeah, we're happy to look after Hope. That's no issue at all. So you take these gentlemen, and we'll look after the Hope. No problem at all.
Okay, one of the fellows with the Tommy gun, he says, I'm going to stick around just to make sure. He says, I'll walk around the perimeter of the property. So he's doing the rounds around the barn. He's just going to wander.
okay.
Fine.
Okay, the sheriff takes off with the other 2, heads off up north towards the mine.
And who wants to stay and who wants to take Hope back to town?
I'm happy to drive them over to the shop.
Split the party.
Well, only for about 15 or 20 minutes. Because, Captain, you're coming back just in time.
Well, why don't me and Ma, and me obviously, because Ma is looking after the girl as
Right.
well. Yeah.
All right,
Someone needs to stick around.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stay here.
All right.
Jimmy and Clayton stay with me.
Mm.
And then you guys get over there and then come right
Sounds
back.
good.
That's only going to take you, 10 minutes?
Yeah. Jimmy, are you armed, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. I have my rifle.
Okay.
As am I.
Okay, good. All right. We've just lost Clayton.
Or no, I think he just put his little cover over his camera for a second.
And
right.
then are we going to meet up with Andrew back at the cave? Is that where he wanted to meet?
No, I think he's going to meet us here, didn't he say?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, he said he'd meet us in town.
That's what I'm a little bit confused. I thought he said we were meeting him at the shop. So
That's what
I'm not sure why we're splitting up to stay here.
Well,
Okay.
Sean, give us some clarification then.
Yeah, he didn't actually. He said, "I'll meet up with you in an hour." He didn't really say where.
I had the impression that he wanted Hope and April safe in the shop while he meets up with us at the house so that he can kill us all. And
The house is going to be swarming with all the people with guns, isn't it?
well, he didn't know that, though. He didn't know there was anybody here at all.
Yeah.
Look, and at the moment they're heading over to the mine, so that should give us some time.
Well, one guy's staying though.
Yeah. Well, there's a way to deal with him as well, but let's.
I don't know. I guess we're not really clear on what to do. So what do you guys want to do? Maybe you're right. I don't know.
It's been half an hour or so. It's just so for your interest.
Okay.
15 minutes here talking to her, then the car is taken off. It'll be about 35 minutes by the time they're back.
Okay. Well, we weren't sure whether we were going to go with him or not. We just didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jimmy was confused. I'm confused now. Thanks, Jimmy.
So my opinion would be that if his primary goal is to protect the granddaughter, that when he told us to take her and her mother to the shop, that's where he would go to. That would be my guess.
And then he might try and take both of them out of the town.
Well,
He might try and fly in and take both of them.
the little girl said the mom doesn't know. So.
Did she?
True. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said to us.
Jeez. Okay.
Might be able to use the mother to help negotiate with him.
Well, let's all go into town then and wait at the shop.
Yeah. I think that's best.
All right.
Okay. You all go into town. The guy with the rifle doesn't actually get around to see before you drive away, so he's just wandering. You get away fine. You head to town. You're at the shop. She unlocks the door. She brings you in. She says, "Look, I keep a small fire going. Just give me a moment." She throws some wood in her stove and starts doing the nervous person thing and starts making coffee for everyone.
When the time comes, we can just say that we found April here at the shop.
Well, she's very happy to see April, but she drops right into once she knows the girl is fine, she drops into the making coffee, trying to make people happy, kind of everything's going to be fine, pretending everything's going to be fine. And so you're there for a little while, and hour passes. Nothing.
I was wrong. He's probably waiting at the barn.
I had the feeling that he wanted to get April and Hope away from the barn so that when he came back with the monster, we'd have our confrontation there. But so we're here.
Or it was all just a trick just to get us out of the cave.
How far is the shop to the campsite?
From the shop to the campsite?
Yeah.
It's a 5-minute drive to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the house to the not the campsite, you mean the dig site?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, from the house to the dig site, you could literally throw a rock twice and hit it.
Yeah, you could walk it, and it's a half a mile.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, how would you feel about going back up in the Raven and having a play with that submachine gun?
That would be awesome. I don't care if it's a monster or not.
we could drive back out to the house to see if he's there, and if the sheriff and stuff is out there, we can say we found the girl. So
and that'll get them off the hunt looking for. Yeah. We'll tell them she just wandered back to the house.
Well, no, we'll tell them that she was at the shop.
Oh, yeah, good idea. Yes.
She wandered into town.
Should someone stay here at the store?
I don't know. I'm curious to see the end of this business with this. I want to see the monster. Now, this could be a biological boon, you know. Who knows what it is? But that's just me personally. If somebody wants to stay, they can stay.
If you found the disc, you could summon the monster yourself.
True.
We took the books, didn't we? Didn't Clayton take the book?
We told Brent to get the hell out of here, so I'm not sure I trust Brent either. I don't want him to have the object. But quite honestly, Montgomery, I don't think I want the Apollo people to have it either.
No, I agree. I think that's best.
I think we need to spirit that away somewhere.
I know of a few places.
So what shall we do? Shall we drive back out to the house?
I
Or
think that's
shall
our
we-
next move, yes.
Shall we just wait here for a while?
Or do we split up?
I need input. Silence doesn't help.
Yeah.
I'm for going back to the house.
Yeah, I'll side with that.
Back to
I
the house.
say let's go. I think let's go back to the house, but I think you should take your fighter up there, Captain.
Yes, well, I that's why I think maybe the house is the best bet, because the house is quite close to the dig site where the Raven is, and that means if anything does kick off, I can quickly, me and Jimmy can go up in the plane.
Why don't you go now? Like instead of going.
Well, I don't want to scare him off. If he's up there now, me going up in the plane, it makes a hell of a lot of noise, and it'll scare him off.
If that creature attacks you in that plane, you're going to die.
I'm a pretty good pilot, and that's why there's a Gatling gun on the back of it, which Jimmy will be fighting back with.
So in any case,
But that's what I'm saying, we don't have to go up unless something kicks off. Like if he attacks us, then there you go.
Hope
Are you
if
leaving?
you're-
Staying. Sorry, I'm just asking.
Hope, if your father returns, we really need to talk to him. He's going to probably want to run, and we need him not to run.
I understand. April, we'll stay here. We'll stay here. We'll lock the doors. He has a key, but I have a latch. But I mean, I don't fear my father.
No, I don't think you should fear him.
No.
I'm afraid that he might think that he's in serious trouble. And at this point, we're the only people who have any clue that he's involved in some things. And we don't really have any intention of turning him over to the police. The police wouldn't even know what to do. And so we're going to leave.
Okay. All right. You step outside to get into your vehicle, and from the direction of the house, you hear machine gun fire.
Mm.
Well, we know what that's our song, I guess. We know what's going on. Let's go.
You
Well,
hear two
by
bursts
the-
of machine gun fire, followed by a horrendous screeching noise in the distance, and then the machine gun fire stops.
Yeah.
Do I go up in the Raven?
Well, we're not even there yet, but
All right, let's get there. Let's get there.
Let's see the scene before we make up our mind as to what to do.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we're driving on the road, and we're probably within sight of the barn.
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
get
going
your
to be looking at the skies to see if I see the thing, like trying
Well,
to
as-
fly back to town or whatever.
yeah. Well, as you approach the house, like as you're going out of the town and head towards the road that goes to the house, you you see headlights, and from the direction of the camp, you see headlights heading towards the house. And you do see the silhouette of something rising up from behind the house, above the house. And you see the headlights driving towards the house, sort of the same speed you're going. And as you're arriving at the house, the other vehicle arrives from the camp.
Okay. I guess we're gonna get Montgomery over to the Raven, because it looks like there's not going to be a peaceful solution here.
Okay, you'll have to drive past the vehicle. Jumps out of the vehicle. Out of the vehicle jumps the remaining 3 fellows. There were 6 in total that had Tommy guns, like these guards, security that were brought in by the company.
And I'll keep it busy.
They're running over towards the farm, and they're like, one of them actually. Let me see. One of them definitely starts running the other way once he sees this creature, and now you all can see it lit up by the moon. It is, it's a reptilian creature with a tail. Not a, I mean, you can see looking at this, perhaps, what some people would see this and think of a dragon. It's like twice, maybe 30% larger, 40% larger than a largest horse you've ever seen. It has leathery wings. It's flapping its wings, and there's definitely someone riding on its back, holding on to these little bits, like old pictures of dinosaurs you've seen in museums. These pointy bits of spikes that come out of its back.
It's holding it, yeah.
It's holding it. It has leathery wings. It has 2 arms that end in claws, pincers, and then dangling behind her feet with long toes, like talony toes, and a tail, of course. Once you see it, I mean, anybody who is in Pardue Mills, it's not what you saw before. It's definitely not what you've seen before. But now that you've seen it, everybody has to make a sanity roll.
Oh, yeah.
I failed it.
Passed.
That's a fail.
Okay. Clayton, how'd you do?
Just 1 second. I'm just pulling up my character sheet. It stopped on me. Give me a second here. I passed.
Okay. Did you say you failed, Captain Montgomery?
Yes, I failed. Yeah.
Okay. You take 3 sanity.
Okay.
Right off the top. You've never seen, and you've seen strange things in your life, but you've never seen anything like this.
Okay.
Dr. Brody, you take 2. You're a little bit, you got a -1 on the roll there because of your experiences in the north. It's not as freaky.
I'm also
it's definitely
interested in knowing what species it is, so.
Yeah.
And you're convinced
It's like a combination of a frilled lizard and a turtle, because it seems like a snapping turtle kind of head with teeth, but claws for hands. This is just
paleontologists
leathery wing
with this thing.
It's flying around very silently. This is the one thing you notice. You're not hearing flapping noises.
Like an
it's
owl.
moving its wings, but
there's no sound.
It's silent.
So I'm wondering if it has fringed edges, which would silence it the way an owl's wings do. All right, so we pull up next to the Raven, and who's going with Dean?
I think Jimmy wasn't he?
Well, who's the best shot? Because Gatling guns, I don't actually have the stats for that, but I'm assuming it's not.
You pointed at whatever you want to kill.
Well, I think Jimmy was quite keen on it.
Yeah. All right, so the 2 of you hop out of the car.
Yeah.
And we pull around a little bit closer and hop. I guess I'm going to hop out of the car.
At the camp?
No, at wherever Andrew is with that creature.
Oh, okay,
So then
yes, that's at the house.
And I'm going to be like, Andrew, stop, Andrew.
Come on, Andrew.
You hear over the voice, over everything else. You hear, I should have suspected it was a trap.
No, Hope is safe. We didn't know these people were here. Hope and April are safe.
Well, the creature's swooping down now on one of the guys with Tommy guns. Swoops at it. The guy dives out of the way by chance, but he drops his Tommy gun, and the other guy leaps the other way as well because it would have bashed into him. So it swoops down, and now it's up in the air again, and it's banking for another turn.
Okay.
It comes whipping around.
Well, if it comes towards us, we're going to sort of dive for it. But
Yeah.
I have a funny feeling Andrew's not going to attack us directly.
You're just causing more trouble for yourself, Andrew.
He might attack the guys with the Tommy guns because they can shoot at him.
You have a better chance of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're both on the ground. They're trying to recover and get back up again, and it's turning to come after them again.
I yell at the guys, and I yell, "Get under cover! Don't shoot!"
One guy scrabbles away and sort of rolls into the ditch beside the roadway, and he's got his Tommy gun, his gun with him, but he doesn't get up to shoot. The other guy, whoever gets on his knees, and he takes another pot shot at it. That's a hit. So it does again. He shoots at it. I should actually see where he hits. Nope. Okay. So again, the creature gets hit again, and it banks away in the other direction after it's been hit. Comes, and it's like making a wide swoop coming back around again. And now you can hear lots of commotion at the camp, like people are yelling and screaming, and you might hear Percy yelling and screaming as well.
Back when I was a child, there was a...
Why are you all running? I have a story to tell. Yeah. I don't know if we can convince him.
Well, we're staying near the car because I want to be able to get the hell away from this creature if it comes for us. Yeah. But I don't know what we can do. I imagine the Raven is started up and it's getting ready to launch.
Okay, so you guys, you get to the aircraft, you've removed the chocks from under the wheels, started the engine, you check the bits and pieces you have to check for an emergency takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
You take off, but you have to make a flying roll only because it is nighttime.
Yeah.
Because it's a nighttime takeoff with an unlit landing field.
Okay. I got a 26 out of 70, which
Easy
is
enough.
a hard, yeah.
Jimmy, you're scared, but you're excited.
I had my flashlight out. I was able to shine the head of him.
through the propeller blades. Okay. So you get up and you're up in the air.
I'm nervous.
Easy enough. So I'm just a bit confused. The Gatling gun that Jimmy's going to be using, he's in the back seat behind you or in front of you?
Yeah, it's one of those gun-mounted back turret things. So he's in the thing with the big kind of Gatling gun thing. That's right.
It's rear facing is what you're saying.
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's what I want.
It'll
Do you
swivel.
have a front-facing gun as well?
Yeah, they'll be like just those two side ones, kind of that I think they sit out on the wings a little bit.
Okay, so it's not through the propeller like those.
No.
Okay, all right. Easy enough. You take off. I'll assume you just did a quick check on your ammunition, or you kept it loaded. I'll assume you didn't have to sit there and have someone roll out ammo and clip a belt in and all that. We'll for dramatic effect, we'll skip that. So you've taken off the loaded aircraft. You're up in the air, and the rest of you hear the aircraft take off, and you see it. You do notice that Andrew and the creature sort of like they're about to swoop down, and they kind of like pull up like a bird about to hit a wall. Go, whoa, what the heck? And they see the takeoff, so they definitely see that you've taken off. And the guys on the ground have regained their composure and are... One fires. Another fires. Both successful. And 4. So the creature gets hit again as it's sitting still and takes a little more damage. But also you see Andrew go, ah! So he's now been hit at least once.
I'm therefore going to run towards the guys with the Tommy gun, yelling, "Stop shooting! Stop shooting!"
This thing is trying to kill us. We can't. It's a monster.
Just stop. There's people up there.
There's people flying the monster.
Just stop. Can I use...
Yeah,
Do you have
stop!
intimidate, or are you just going to keep saying stop?
I'm going to try to intimidate with my 15 and intimidate.
Yeah, I'm also yelling, stop! And I fail my intimidate.
And I did too. So they're just going to shove us out of the way and keep shooting.
That generally, yeah. Okay. Now you do hear some pot shots happening from the camp now, but they're too far away to actually hit this thing in the dark. But you do hear some little rifle fire from the camp, perhaps pistol fire from a couple of people that happen to bring hunting rifles with them. Percy, perhaps.
Percy's like, I
Sitting
remember
on his
when we used to shoot
shooting.
at birds as they flew over in the summertime.
Oh, my passenger pigeons make the most tasty treats. Or carrier pigeons, rather.
Yeah.
So, but now the creature is taking note and flying around, banking away from the house towards the north again. So now, Captain Montgomery, you need to do what you're going to do.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna pursuit and start firing.
All right, you have an opportunity now, and in this time to have rose in the air and banked towards the creature. Creature is trying to evade you. I don't know how to do aerial combat, but we're going to wing it.
Yeah.
You're an
Wouldn't
uncharted.
it just be like regular? Wouldn't it just be like regular combat, just
With flying.
with flying?
Well, you could give them a penalty or a bonus.
I've got to wait. Okay, so you have. It's just an aircraft, but I'm assuming you're flying at the creature. Creature is trying to evade you. All right, go ahead. Roll your flying roll. Just we'll compare the
Flying
numbers.
Okay.
Or pilot roll, aircraft pilot.
I think the rest of us are probably hopping in the car and heading in
I
that
got an
direction.
8.
You absolutely did better than it, so you have an opportunity to fire.
Okay, so I don't actually have a stat for, like, I guess, a front machine gun. So what should I do? Do a firearm or?
Oh, I think Dr. Brody is looking something.
I don't have machine gun up there, but I think that's what you're going to use it as, just as a machine
Yeah,
gun.
just firearms.
Here.
Yeah. Rifle.
Generally, your firearm skill. I mean, you're not aiming; you're aiming with the aircraft. So you've already made a successful pointing the aircraft at it. So just fire to hit.
All right, I got a 30 out of 50 on the firearm.
Okay, that's definitely a hit. So
Just now got to work out what the damage will be for.
Those are pretty powerful bullets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At least
Armor
one
piercing, pretty much,
Yeah. Now remember, you're aiming at the mass.
Yeah.
It's not like a pistol where you can.
No, like I can't be like I'm specifically aiming for this. I'm just aiming,
going for its
getting
legs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of course, it's also shooting a whole bunch of bullets at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got some. Okay, so roll you've rolled and go ahead. Sorry.
Cool. So what do I roll? At least the 1d10, we reckon.
Yeah, per bullet.
I think per bullet. Yeah. So, but you are banking, and it is banking. So I'm going to give you 3 of those.
Okay,
Yeah.
3 1d10s. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, I got I got a 4. I got a 3, and I got a 9.
Oof. Oh, 50 caliber.
Okay.
Oh, damn,
I have
50
to.
caliber, yeah.
I just looked up like just like generic kind of machine guns, and yeah, they're usually about 50 caliber. Like, yeah, it's huge.
All right. Here's what happens. You actually, one of the bullets connects with the grandfather, Mr. Chalmers. He is knocked. He's about 100 feet off the ground, maybe 75 feet, but he is knocked off of the creature. Creature grabs it with his hind foot and starts bringing him up. So the creature is definitely out of balance, not flying well now, not paying attention. It has collected him in the air as he fell and is trying to fly back down to the ground right now with him. So it's dropped, and you have to swing around and bank back.
Mm-hmm.
And we're heading towards it with our car.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've definitely hit, it's in.
I've definitely hit Andrew.
Andrew and the creature. The creature is hit as well.
Okay, I hit the creature as well. So as it was, would Jimmy be in range now with his swivel gun at all?
Yes, Jimmy, you can shoot now as well. You have a little better chance of aiming because you're actually using a weapon that you can aim. You're not concentrating on flying.
Against my firearm skills, it would be a 51 out of 60. Regular pass.
Okay, that's good. I'll give you 2. So do 2 die 10.
Ooh, 7 and an 8. 15.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm yelling at the same time.
Is that what you're yelling?
I'm yelling.
Okay, now I have to make get this, I have to make a dexterity roll for the creature. Oh. Creature successfully gets to the ground and lowers. It's seriously hurt. Is everybody locked up?
No.
Oh, it looked locked up. Okay. Nobody's moving.
We're just
anticipating.
Okay, so the creature...
I'm gripping the seat, the armrests on my chair.
The creature gets Andrew to the ground, lowers him. He stumbles away, and he's got something in his arms under his arm. Like it looks like he had a satchel or something around his shoulder, and he's wandering off. Now the creature is taking off to the north.
Okay. And we're pulling up towards where Andrew is.
Yeah,
he's trying to run away.
I'm assuming I've seen their car or a car following off after him. So
Yes.
I yell back to Jimmy and I say, let's get rid of this creature. Let's take it out. So we're going to go on after the creature.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's finish that up first. Okay. So make your flight aircraft roll, whatever your piloting roll.
My aircraft roll. I got a 41 out of 70.
Okay. It failed, so it has not evaded you. So you have an opportunity to shoot again.
Okay. Firearms. I got a 35 out of 50. So 3 D10s again.
Yep.
Okay. First one is a 10. Second one is a 9. And the third one is a 5.
Oof.
All right.
He was
The creature
flying.
The creature falls out of the air towards the ground. And as it's falling towards the ground, there is a flash of blue light. A flash of blue light.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't contact the ground, but it's just gone.
It disappears.
Sanity.
Yeah, I'm taking a sanity roll on that.
Yeah. You should. You haven't seen anything like that happen before. Hope you fail while you're flying in an airplane.
I passed. I got a 43 out of 66. So I passed just. But I'm pretty shaken still.
You're shaking. You could chalk that up to like, what was that? What was that flash I saw? Maybe I hit a gas can on the ground or something. It doesn't really cause any sanity loss. Jimmy, how'd you do?
Yeah, I passed 2, but I took 2 points because it so kind of freaked me out.
Okay.
Expecting it to hit the land, but didn't.
Yep.
Where is it? And I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'm going to take 2 as well because I agree. I think that was pretty out there, so I'm going to take 2 as well.
Well, those of you on the ground, what you saw was they shot at it. The thing dropped from the sky, and it was like a circle of blue light. Like you saw it sort of like the plane, the edge of it. And it was like this flash that came outwards. And then there's nothing.
Like it fell into an invisible hole in the air.
Yep.
Sinkhole or something? What happened? Where'd it go?
Andrew's running away from you, by the way, still. He's trying to get away.
All right. I
Yeah,
think
we
we
gotta
can catch
catch
up to him, though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we can catch up.
The second I can start yelling at him, I'm like, Andrew. I'm like, we have to hide the artifact from these people. You're badly wounded.
He is. He's stumbling.
I said, we're not giving it to them. We're going to keep it away from them. And we've jumped out of our car and we're running up to catch up to him.
He says, you got to get, he drops to the ground. And when he drops to the ground, the satchel hits the ground. He's not dead, but he's just sort of out of breath and losing blood. He's been shot in the side, like it's not in his chest or anything, but he is losing a lot of blood. And the satchel flops open, and inside it you see the stone.
Okay. I'm just going to snatch up the satchel.
And I'm just going to kind of squat down next to him. Andrew, we all want the same thing here. We want to keep your family safe, and we don't want that stone to get in the wrong hands.
Like we didn't want it to end like this, but as it is now, you're probably going to get blamed for everything that happened here.
Yeah.
But we got to get this away from these people. And
he just hands it to you. Says, "I just want my granddaughter to be safe, and my daughter to be safe."
All right. Well, they're safe at the shop. How big is this thing? Is it like a big stone?
Like it's the same size as the other one. I mean, it's a dinner plate size.
All right.
And it's not as heavy as you thought it would be. You were expecting it to be this giant.
Yeah. Probably 5 or 10 pounds instead of a little girl could barely pick.
If that.
All right. So we've got it wrapped up. We need to know what to do with it. For now, we've just got to get it away before any of the authorities show up.
Well,
I'm going to.
Andrew needs some medical attention, by the way.
Right.
Just
Let's see if we can get Andrew back to the car. But let's hide this in the trunk. Maybe under the spare tire or whatever, so that they have no reason to search our car for anything. They'll probably they will probably tear the barn and the house apart looking for it. But by then we'll be gone. I don't know. I'm saying all this as we're scrambling.
Andrew's passed out by now just from blood loss, so
all right.
You'll have to give him some first aid. But Jimmy and Captain Montgomery, are you guys going to land, or what are you going to do? Shoot up the camp?
No, I take it back and land back at the camp.
Okay.
I got an.
So you're doing a roll
on first aid.
roll.
Oh, so I thought you meant roll the piloting.
Okay. Well, you've successful maximum healing, I guess you can do with your first aid. Got him patched up.
Use my healing power.
I'll be sure to thank the cat points and pilot.
No, I still just give him 1 point back, but we've stopped the bleeding.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Stop the bleeding, patched him up. Done your best. And make your piloting roll, Captain Montgomery.
Okay. I got a 38 out of 70, so fine.
Okay, you land. People run over to you from the camp and go, "What the hell was that?" And Zephyr Montague's there, and Percy's telling stories. And they're wondering, what was that? What the hell was that flash of light? What were you shooting at? Was that creature thing?
I couldn't see it that well. It's still quite dark, but it was some sort of large flying creature. But there was a flash of light, and it must have gotten away. I couldn't see it after that. And I looked back at Jimmy and sort of give him a look to, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got it, but it just sort of disappeared. But I think we got it.
Good, because I've had enough of this place, says Zephyr, and the other men they're all nervous and anxious. I think we're going to call it a day here. I think we have to look at our information we have, because this is just too much.
Are you going to head back to Dominion anytime soon, Zephyr?
Well, I'll have to wait until morning when I can contact the offices. But
when you contact them, you can tell them that I'm handing in my letter of resignation.
You've had enough as well?
I'm retiring. I'm going to retire while I'm still young enough to enjoy my life.
I'm sure Mr. Dearworth will try to talk you out of it, but I will pass on.
I'm sure he will, but you
information.
can pass it on, yes. Jimmy, let's go catch up with the others.
Yeah. Come on up to Canada. It's nice and quiet up there.
Sounds good.
Never any creatures up there.
It's too cold.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'll move in
I will
with Ma.
assume that you all, yeah, the log lady.
Shack up with Ma.
Well, we have to figure out how
Okay.
to get this out of town.
Your car is in the middle of a field too, by the way. You had to drive out into a grassy field. It's not on a roadway, so they do see that you're out there in a car.
Well, I think since Andrew's been injured, I think we should drive back to the shop, get Hope and April, and head to the Chillicothe hospital and get him fixed up, and then figure out where we can spirit them off to.
The captain, I've got a false bottom in my plane, so I can put the piece in there. Like I've got a secret compartment in the plane, which I use for like safekeeping of things, so I can put it in there and no one's likely to find it and go through my plane and so on and so forth.
Okay, that sounds good. You're not gonna like take it back to Dominion, are you?
No, I've quit. I
All
handed
right.
in my resignation. Jimmy can vouch for it.
Well, we'll put it in there for now while we're traveling, but we got to figure out what the hell to do.
Yes.
You haven't headed back. I mean, you've gone. I will assume that you've all gotten back together.
Yeah.
And you've gotten to the shop,
Mhm.
and the car can't hold all of you, and April and Hope and the grandfather.
Well, you can drop me off at my hotel, because I'll start packing up our shit. But you got to get him to the hospital. That's just a few miles down the road, isn't it? Chillicothe?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. So I'd say first stop would definitely be, as you say, dropping off Dr. Brody and then getting Andrew to the hospital.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'll speed forward a little bit. You can get Andrew to the hospital. It's not a problem. Someone's obviously, Dr. Brody's staying with April and Hope, I'm assuming, at the shop for now. Morning.
I thought they would go with us, but yeah.
So there's still, I mean, you've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5, 6, 7 people. You can't really put those people in the car.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can divvy it up if you want, whoever goes to the hospital. I mean, I think April and Hope are going to want to go with the grandfather.
Well, how about, I don't know, Clayton and Jimmy, you want to help start packing up our stuff?
Yeah, I can help.
Let Ma and Dean and Andrew go to the girls.
Okay, yeah, so we pick up the girls drop them at the hotel, pick up the girls from the shop, and we take Andrew over to the hospital.
Okay. All right, and just I mentioned this at the very beginning of the game, Captain Montgomery, you were given some funds by the company to help pay for expenses. And it's because, I mean, this is the 1920s. So hospitals are not, there's no medical coverage or anything like that. So definitely there would be some money involved in this kind of treatment for him for gunshot wounds and such. But so you're able to dip into the funds that you were provided with, which were fairly ample for that purpose. So I'm assuming, I'll fast forward a bit, you drop them off. He's unconscious still. You head back to town. It's morning. You have your things packed. Everything's together. Percy's back with you. What's your plan, you guys? Because by now Brent has arrived and he's sort of snuck in through the back door of the hotel and he says, so what would I miss, fellas? Someone brief him or no?
Well, we don't tell him that we have the artifact. We tell him that we suspected Andrew was in control of the creature, but that he fell off the animal, and somewhere along the lines he dropped the artifact, and we have no idea where it went. It fell into the woods. It could be literally anywhere out there.
Oh, they're going to scour the land for that. That's not good. They will find it. They will spread their people out and dragnet that location. I mean, my suggestion would be you've got a few options, and I can't be part of them because they do vaguely know who I am in this company. You can either find the artifact before they do and take it to them and allow them to push you towards what they want you to do next, which is probably assisting in finding the third artifact. Or my other alternative, and I think Captain Montgomery might be able to help with this, is if we could find it, we could spirit it away, hide it, and then find the third artifact on our own.
Well, that was my plan as going after the third item, but I trust you gentlemen and Ma and whatever you have more experience with these particular stones and items. So if you would prefer a different route, then let me know.
Well, I think that he's right that we need to find that artifact, but Mr. Sterling, you
Sterling, yes.
Yeah, you can't be any part of this. Everybody knows who you are, and you're
they do. They know of me.
So leave it to us. I would suggest you leave town, and we'll, if there's any way that we can keep in touch. Where are you actually located?
My family is in the Boston area, and I'm actually going back home. My brother's passed away recently, and I'm going to actually meet back with my mother. I haven't spoken to her for a number of years since I left. I'm going to go back to my family home, so he provides you with information, contact information, and such.
Okay.
He says, I believe she will need some assistance after my brother's death in managing the company, but it's not what I want to do, of course. I left to be in the clergy, and now I'm investigating these strange happenings. Please contact me as soon as you can.
Has he given us enough information that we know more or less where the third item might be?
No, you haven't actually asked him yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then that's our next question is,
Yeah.
okay, where do we look for the third item?
He says, my research that I have performed and a little bit of bribery on the part of myself to some persons who work for the organization that Mr. Montgomery no longer works for. I do believe it's in the Okefenokee swamp area of northern Florida, southern Georgia. That's all the information I gathered, is that seems to be the last known location is in Tallahassee. So that's all I really have. That's why I was saying we'd need to you probably need to allow them to push you in the direction of finding that third artifact and give you information, or find more information some other means from the people from Dominion.
Well, I'll tell you now that we're not going to tell them that the artifact fell out into the woods, and they won't know that. They're going to assume that it's still in that mound somewhere, and they're going to search there for it. I think, from my impression of Zephyr, is he's about here as far as giving up, looking for it. So they might not be a problem for very much more. And then we should be able to find that artifact out there somewhere.
Well, that's probably the best of plans. I should probably leave, since people have seen me around town now.
Well, we know where you are, so we'll contact you.
Excellent. Well, my car is running. I have my things packed, and I've bandaged up as best I can. I think I'm going to I'm going to find the closest hotel and have a little nap for a day or so, and then I'm going to head back to Boston. But I'll leave it in your hands, gentlemen, and I will hopefully see and hear from you soon. So he out to his car and scoots.
And I say, how's that for lying?
Good job, Doc.
So what do we do? How do we cover our tracks? Do we pretend to
go along with their
be in town and then just leave because we can't find this artifact? Because I think that maybe they'll say, well, we have a third thing we're looking for. Would you be willing to help on that? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
What if we bait them into it as the company? So we use Brent's information that he just gave us, and we sort of weave that into some sort of fabrication that we found more evidence of a third one, that it exists down in Florida. We can probably find it for you. Kind of like offer them.
Or we could just go down there and see if we can find it.
Yeah, ask around.
Pay for it ourselves then.
Well, especially because our dear captain here is no longer part of their organization. I'm not sure if they'll want him to hang around here much longer.
Yes, no, I'm definitely in the camp of we just go down there and do it ourselves. I don't want to be involved with Dominion anymore. I don't trust them, and I mean, for my half brother to send me on this thing as well, it's just I don't want to involve them. Let's just go do it ourselves, because for all we know, the Dominion may not know about Tallahassee and about this swamp, which means, if we decide to go off on our own, unless they've got people watching us, then they'll be none the wiser.
Very likely have people watching us, but we
probably
should,
yeah, I agree. I think they have someone watching us, so whatever. I think we should definitely go down there. I want to take a little break, and then I will definitely go down later on. Maybe.
I also think that we should seriously investigate both this company, the Apollo and the Dominion, and know what we're up against.
Well, I don't mind headed down to Florida to do a little bit of scouting if you all want to do the research.
We can tell them we're all going on vacation because of the hell that we just went through.
Yeah, we could definitely do that too.
We're all going down to Florida for a wedding.
Spring break. Floribama Shore.
I hear Florida's kind of nice. They should build some sort of an amusement park down there at some point. But
or a couple, yes.
Now
be great. That could be universally enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
you rest, you eat, you talk. It's morning. What would you like to do? Are you going to... Captain Montgomery, you want to do an idea roll for a second?
Okay.
We should probably collect Percy.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he's with you now. You collected him already.
I got a 43 out of 80. So pass.
Okay. Just offhand, because of your history and your knowledge and such, of a airport that's privately owned and run about 25 miles south. About 35 miles south of where you are right now. Mm-hmm. And you have a contact there who can assist you with gas and such, fuel and such for your aircraft. So just so you know, that's just something that came to your mind, is that if you're going to be wanting to skedaddle, that might be a place you could head for the time.
Okay. So I obviously relay all that to to the gentleman and say that might be the best way for us to slip away unseen. I can organize for a larger plane, obviously, to be able to carry all of us, and I'll pack up the Raven, and we can pack up the balloon. And
You do still have a substantial amount of cash that they had provided you with. They'd assumed there might be some need for money.
Yeah. So what do you think of that, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
so we pack up all the stuff
All right.
and slip away.
I'll give you that. Okay. So that's we can. It's 11 o'clock. Do you want to end it there?
Yeah. Is that the end of our story so far?
That is. I didn't have to dip too much into the third one. So that was the end of this chapter. I will say that you're able to get your aircraft. You're able to get the Celeste up in the air. You're able to head down south with the assumption that you've had enough. The people at the camp have had enough. Zephyr's had enough. Haven't found anything you're looking for. Security guys are either injured beyond wanting to do anything, or just they're nuts after what they've seen. A lot of people are, so it's easy enough for you to fly and slip away into the morning mist and head south to the airport, where your friend is happy to see you all arrive.
Cool. Excellent. So when do you think we will see chapter 3?
Anytime after August. How's that?
All right. It'll be a while, but
Oh yeah, I'm good anytime after summer. Once my child is away to university, I'm good.
There you go.
Do you want to take any questions?
Yes,
or
I can give you some answers. Yes, not anything that would give away too much. But feel free to ask.
I'm still fuzzy on the whole. It seems like we found 3 cases, and I was under the impression that all 3 cases are accounted for, and so the one case we found up in Canada, that would take care of the first one. And then I got confused. I thought 2 cases were located here in
They were.
Okay.
Okay.
So just because the case is here doesn't necessarily mean the third medallion is here.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're.
But at some point, the third one was here.
At some point, all 3 were here.
Okay, so this makes the most sense then to me. Amelia took the artifacts from her crazy cult husband and brought them here, all 3 of them. And then they were split up. One was hidden, one went that way up north, one went there.
Yeah, I think
that's how they've gotten split up.
As far as I know, maybe she and 2 of her friends said, you know what, let's all...
Or the church people.
Or, yeah, I'm just saying.
They were evil.
The crazy uncle took the one up north, maybe.
Maybe. And somebody took one down south.
Yeah.
Keep them all far apart.
Yeah, and we're like, we seen what happens.
Smiling, so he's not going to tell us for sure. But.
Well, just you can put together in your mind that, remember, the church was involved. The father before she married Ezekiel brought the church in to talk. You assume, Brent might have led you to believe some of this as well. The church knew that these were things that were not Christian, not godly things. They needed to be split apart.
I have another one too. I'm not sure how to word this. So all the women seem to have been killed by, quote, bears. Do we know?
It's probably always bears.
Yeah. Do we know that that's the case, or is that still an open, up in the air question? Okay.
That's an open question. Yep.
Right.
You don't know. Just remember, you don't know where this creature came from, or how long it's been there, or whether Andrew brought it into being or someone else did. But also, there's lots of bears around here.
Yeah.
It's still, wilderness.
Because I couldn't figure out. I was expecting Andrew to basically be the evil cult leader, but everything that we talked about, he was just concerned about protecting. So he was using the creature to protect his wife and his daughter and his granddaughter from the bears.
Yep.
So that's what I'm just trying to there's something fishy going on there.
What all
I was actually expecting you to think it was the granddaughter who was controlling the creature, but
Someone said partway through they were like,
Jimmy wrote. Yeah, I was like, oh,
they were like,
maybe.
the granddaughter's the creature, and I was like,
That'd
oh
be
god,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought a lot of weird.
I was trying to
He
lead you in
survived the
a
bear
very direct-
attack, so I was like, okay. What do we glean from the diary now that we have kind of a chance to read it?
The diary is Amelia's husband's document.
Right.
Started out as him, and there's it starts out for like a basic diary. Like, we've moved out west. We're going to start a church in the west and teach these wild peoples to be Christians. And it slowly becomes, I now have a way. It doesn't explain too much about anything except I now have a way to bend them to my will, and I'm now controlling the people, and we're building a temple. And then it kind of just stops, and then someone else's writing takes over. It also, in between those pages, there are things like notes that have been taken, like something that he has found in another language.
right.
And then it becomes someone else's notes, somebody who was in a different handwriting later on in the future, who is studying these objects, and they must have had access to some other books, because it seems like things are being copied down in other languages that none of you can recognize. And then there are things that are phonetically written, which you can glean to be spells. I don't want to say that, but somebody has phonetically written out ... Here's how you pronounce these words, and it has pictures of the different stones and such, and how to utilize them.
So we have that still.
You do, yes.
And is it legible to us? Like, if we sat down and studied it, could we learn it? Because I'm guessing if Andrew learned how to do it, then anyone
Except for
could.
some of the languages that we don't know. But
Right.
if it's phonetically written, then we don't necessarily have to know.
Some of it's phonetic, and some of it is definitely another language, and some symbols you don't recognize either.
Uh-huh. All right. Shall we end it there?
Okay.
Our players included Mick Swan, Jeff Wilkins, Corey Highstead, Zane Fleming, Troy Wheeldryer, and myself, with Sean Little as the keeper of the secrets. And we have to say, Sean's written this whole thing. We should give him a big round of applause for a great game so far. We are currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We like reading them. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft, Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.